Hey guys, it's Miss Benson. I just wanted to run through some of the basic economic concepts that we talked about a little bit in class just to reinforce it and make sure you feel pretty good about it. Remember that the first thing that we talked about is how economics is not about money. Economics is all about people's choices. So what we're really studying in econ, we're studying people and their behaviors and why they are making the choices that they are. Now, specifically, we're studying why people are choosing to use their scarce resources in certain ways to satisfy unlimited wants. So the technical definition is economics is the study of how people choose to use their scarce resources to satisfy their unlimited wants. But in a nutshell, there's always things that we want. There's always things that we want to do, things that we want to get, things that we want to buy, and we have time and money, which are scarce resources, and we all have to make decisions on the best way to use those. So life's about choices. Economics is about choices. Economics is pretty much about life. Now, there are two branches of economics that we're going to study this year. There's going to be microeconomics, which we're going to study in the fall, and then macroeconomics, which we're going to study in the spring a little bit later. Microeconomics means that we're going to be zooming in on the individual choices and decisions of specific customers and specific businesses. So we want to know, why did that customer choose this product over that product? And we want to know, why did that business hire 3 workers instead of 4 workers? We're going to figure out how customers can get the best deals. We're going to figure out how businesses can maximize their individual profits. And all of those things are practical things to know how to be able to do. With macroeconomics, we're going to be talking about things on a bigger scale, so things that concern the entire nation, like a country's GDP. How productive is a country? Is that country's currency appreciating or depreciating? We're going to talk about foreign exchange. We're going to talk about inflation and if the price level of things is getting higher or lower, and we're going to talk about unemployment as well. So macroeconomics deals with bigger things that concern the whole entire country or the whole entire economy. Now, what do economists actually do? Well, when they're hired by businesses or by a government, then what they tend to do is study data and then give advice based on what they see in that data. A lot of times they're studying sales data and they're using positive statements to describe how things actually are. So an economist would actually use positive statements when they're looking at the quarterly sales data to figure out how sales actually are for that company. And then based on that information, they're going to use normative statements or statements of opinion to talk about what they think the company should do to maximize its profits or to increase its sales. Now for us, in our everyday life, we're always constantly making choices. We make multiple choices every single day. And most of us don't realize it, but we instinctively use a process called marginal analysis. You probably know this as weighing the pros and cons of something. In economics, the word marginal always means something extra or something additional. So when you think of marginal, think of extra or additional, like how margins on the side of a page are extra or additional space. When we do marginal analysis, we're weighing the extra benefits of something versus the extra cost of that action. Now, of course, if the cost outweigh the benefit, we probably won't do that action. But if the benefits outweigh the cost, we will probably proceed with that action. So marginal analysis is simply what a lot of people call weighing the pros and cons of something. And that's how we make our choices. Now, anytime that we make choices, we're trying to make the best decisions we can for ourselves given the information we have, and that's called acting in our own rational self-interest. And most of us, we assume, are trying to make the best decisions for ourselves given the information we have. Whether you're trying to decide what college to go to or what car to buy, based on the information you have, you're going to try to make the best decision you can. Anytime you make a choice, there are always alternatives that you did not choose, and those are known as trade-offs. Now, the next best alternative, or your second best choice, is known as something specific called opportunity cost. Opportunity cost is that next best alternative that you did not choose. And it does not have to be a dollar value just because it has the word cost in it. Maybe what you're giving up is the experience of something. For example, if you've ever gone to a restaurant and you're with a group of people Sometimes you might have difficulty looking at the menu and all the different options, trying to decide what it is that you want to eat. I know that's me. I'm always the last to decide what I want to eat. Eventually I get it narrowed down, and eventually I make my decision. Even though I chose the chicken pasta, maybe if I hadn't chosen that, I would have chosen the hamburger, or I would have chosen the salmon, all right? Whatever is your second best choice, that's known as your opportunity cost. So even though I got the chicken pasta and it was delicious, I also did miss out on the yumminess and the experience of the other food that I could have had, whatever my second best choice would have been. So it doesn't just have to be money that you're giving up. And it's also different from person to person. If we all went out to eat together, my second best choice of the menu would be different than your second best choice of the menu, because we're all individuals with different tastes and preferences. Now, since we're studying people and people's choices, sometimes it can be really tricky to try to study human behavior. We can't take into account every single variable and factor that goes into people's decisions, so a lot of times our models and our theories tend to be very, very simplified just so we can get the point across. A lot of times we will use a phrase called ceteris paribus, which is a Latin phrase which means other things constant, whenever we're trying to just really figure out how two things are affecting each other. For example, if I'm going to put my items on sale, I might want to know how lowering the price of my items is going to affect the amount of customers that want to buy my product. In that case, I just want to focus on price and the amount that people want to buy. I don't want to focus on, well, is it a hot day? Where am I located? And all the other factors that could have gone into people's decisions. So I would say, as my price gets lower, people tend to buy more, other things constant. So just keep in mind when we do our pictures and our drawings and our models and our theories that they are simplified. That's just so we can try to get the point across, but we can definitely take and try to elaborate it later.